Welcome to Tales from the Streets. Here is what our narrator has to say. There is no love lost between Mama and I. She was a mother-in-law who was determined not to accept me. Deciding to be in my bed on my wedding night was her final act of get out. But instead of me seeing it as such, I chose to ignore it. Here's my story. My marriage lasted for less than 4 months. It shouldn't even have been a marriage, nor a relationship. It should just never, ever have happened. I thought I was in love when I met UK. He was soft-spoken. He had hands and feet like a girl's, clipped clean, like someone who didn't want dirt near him. He spoke like someone who had lived abroad for a while. Maybe that was also one of the things that drew me to him. I had always wanted to go abroad, so he was the closest thing to me. And the fact that he became interested in me was a big bonus. He asked me out. I was in my final year at the Polytechnic then. He bought me fish and chips at one of the fast food restaurants that he took me to that Saturday. And that's how it all began. It was easy to see he was a mommy's boy. And for me, that was no threat. I didn't feel threatened by him depending so much on his mom for everything, especially when he punctuated every achievement he made using his mom as the main reason. I figured, when we get closer, this would change. Now look at it this way. His mom had been there for him all of his life. He was her only son. I didn't think I would just come in and take her place just like that, I also hope to have children someday. So I know how moms and sons can have a strong bond. I would like that too someday. But his mother clearly didn't like me from get-go. Then again, I didn't think it unusual. How many mothers-in-law get on with their daughters-in-law? So how was mine going to be different? I was only determined to make her like me and accept me as her daughter-in-law, if not her daughter at least. I tried to get Mama to like me. I would go to her house, scrub, clean, cook. It was just never enough. And I never gave up, I kept trying. When UK and I began to make plans for the wedding, Mama was as involved as UK and I. It was as if the union was going to be between me on one side and UK and her on the other. Mama wanted to handle virtually everything. My wedding dress, our rings, UK suit, our reception, the color of the cake, the type of cake, the cake maker, caterer. I swear, she seemed to know everyone who could supply these things, decor even. So at some point, I began to wonder, who's really getting married here? Me or Mama? Whenever I raised objections, UK would say, babe, let Mama handle this because how many weddings has she had? Meaning his wedding was the only one Mama would ever have to organize. Him being her only son, her only child too. As for my own people, they were angry, of course, but I kept begging them to maintain the peace. I told them that things would change after the wedding. My sister IJ didn't see it like that. She kept telling me to refuse to some of those things I had agreed to. She said UK's mom will not stop. She would keep coming for more and more attention until she destroyed our relationship. Maybe I should have paid attention to her. But I was in love. I wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted UK to be happy, even if it meant me being a little unhappy. Anyway, on our wedding, and even before then, we got gifts of money from friends and family. We got checks too, addressed to us as Mr. and Mrs. Even on our wedding day, people came with envelopes and gave us. As the bride, I couldn't carry any bag, but my sister IJ was my chief bridesmaid. I wanted to pass the envelopes to her. But UK said I should pass all the envelopes to his cousins, to his cousin. So all the envelopes and gifts were given to UK's cousin. So, well, after the wedding, I expected that UK's cousin would bring the money to us to give it to IJ, right? No. Instead, what UK brought to me was a bag of empty envelopes with no cash, no checks. Then I asked, "Where is all the money?" He told me he had arranged for it to be put in his personal account. Okay, so let me roll back a bit. On our wedding night, we had guests in the house, people who had traveled from the village to attend the wedding from his side of the family. They were all in our house. The place was full. That very night, my mother-in-law came to meet me in the room to tell me I should go and remove all the extra food in the coolers. The leftovers in the coolers that we had used to serve guests at the reception were brought to the house. So, Mama asked me to remove my wedding clothes and to go to the kitchen and put the leftovers in the freezer. I swear to you. As in, I was like, wait. So, in this house, full of people, cousins, family, friends, you couldn't find anyone to do this? I looked at UK. He looked away. Child. If I refused to go, there would be wahala. All his family members were in the house. I was in the midst of strangers. So I removed my clothes, changed into something casual, and went to the kitchen to tidy it up. There were over 20 coolers of leftover food. Nobody came to help. They will come to the kitchen, take something, take more food, check if there was food in any of the coolers, or maybe take a drink from the fridge and leave me there. When I finished that midnight, on my wedding midnight, after putting the food away, I washed some of the coolers, tidy things up, because it was looking like I would be the one to come and do it again the following day. And I was tired. I just wanted to crawl into bed and cry. When I got to our room, my mother-in-law was in our bed. I kid you not. She was snoring, in fact. I went outside to look for UK. He was with his cousins outside the house. I asked him why Mama was sleeping in our bed. He said that the AC in her room wasn't working, and so she asked to sleep in our room. Chai! On our wedding night. And listen, me being a good Christian girl, I had never had sex with UK while we were cutting. So I was looking forward to it being the first time that night. That was when I knew I had made the biggest mistake of my life. This wasn't going to be a marriage. It was going to be a threesome. From that moment on, I began to look for how to get myself together to end the marriage. A marriage that had just started a few hours ago. I was already planning how and when to walk away. 3 months later, I did. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.